another discussion, are heaven and hell created? Or they will be created on the Day of Judgment? Or do they exist now? What do you say? What's your understanding?
I think they are created.
They exist?
But وجيء بجهنم or something.
In Surah Al-Fajr?
I think so. وجيء
وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا وَجِيءَ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِجَهَنَّمَ. Yeah, Jahannam will be brought to you. Meaning, you'll be taken. See, it's a scary, sometimes you're told, they'll take you to the fire. Sometimes you're told the fire is going to be brought to you. It's just a way to scare them. Otherwise, the people will be taken to hell.
I think isn't in the Ma'raj the Rasul
Yes, that's one of the proofs. The Mu'tazila, you know the Mu'tazila, historically they've been a branch, a school of thought. The Mu'tazila and some other schools of thought, such as some Zaydiyya, they have claimed that heaven and hell are not created yet. They will be on the Day of Judgment. But the Imamiyya, the Shia, and also the Ash'ara is the main Sunni theological school of thought. They believe that no, they have been created. So most Sunnis today, they also agree with us, the Shia, that heaven and hell are currently existing. It's not that on the Day of Judgment, Allah will create them. So we agree on this point. And Shaykh al-Mufid, he clearly states, إِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ وَالنَّارَ فِي هَذَا الْوَقْتِ مَخْلُوقَتَانِ. It's our belief, the Shia, that heaven and hell are now created, and we have many hadiths about that. Okay, if someone tells you what's the evidence that heaven and hell are created, one evidence is the story of Mi'raj in the Quran, in Surah Al-Najm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ نَزْلَةً أُخْرَى. The Prophet saw Jibreel, or the glory of God, عند سدرة المنتهى, the tree of Sidra, عندها جنة المأوى. See, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, by that tree was heaven. So the Quran is saying the Prophet saw it. That means it's created. It's not going to be created on the Day of Judgment. So there are a number of verses that indicate that heaven is actually created. One hadith from Al-Harawi, he's one of the companions of Al-Imam Al-Rida alayhi salam. He states, I said to Al-Imam Al-Rida, Ibn Rasulullah, tell me, are heaven and hell created or no? The Imam alayhi salam states, Na'am. وَإِنَّ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ قَدْ دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةَ وَرَأَى النَّارِ. Assalamu alaikum. The Prophet entered paradise. He saw it. And he saw hell. لَمَّا عُرِجَ بِهِ إِلَى السَّمَاءِ. During the Mi'raj, the ascension into the heavens. Al-Harawi states, I said to Al-Imam Al-Rida alayhi salam, but there is a group of people who says, no, Allah has decreed that He will create them one day, but they're not created yet. The Imam alayhi salam states, no, these people are deviants, they're not on our path. مَنْ أَنْكَرَ خَلْقَ الْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّارِ فَقَدْ كَذَّبَ النَّبِيَّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ. The one who denies that they're created is falsifying the Prophet. Because the Prophet said, I saw it. So if you say there's no heaven and hell right now, that means you're what? You're falsifying the claim of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Imams of Ahlul Bayt were very clear that heaven and hell are created. Right now they exist somewhere in the universe. Not that on the Day of Judgment Allah will create them. They exist at this moment. Yes.
What about those planets, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn? I never got that. How weird is that? Did they have people on them too?
No, not that we know.
No, right?
Visible people, no, we don't see. Yes, there's angels, maybe other types of creations, possibly. But the angels, they occupy every, Imam Ali in Nahj al-Balagha says, every square foot, موضع قدم. In the universe, there's an angel there. So imagine just how many trillions of angels Allah has created. In the universe, yes. In the space and also on those planets and on Earth too. Even on Earth, everywhere you go there are angels.
We can't see them.
No, we cannot see them. But there's no humans on Mars or these other planets, no. Yes, brother.
Could there be other Earths? Not like other universes.
There could be life on other planets, yes. It's a possibility.
But could there be other Earths with humans? Like the same species, just humans with other
The hadith does not mention that, but it's possible that there are other forms of life. There is one hadith that states when Al-Imam Al-Hujjah Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif returns, one narration states he will travel with his companions to the stars. Now, what kind of mode of transportation will he have? Allah knows. But it seems that he may contact other life out there. This is something that some scholars have concluded. So there could be life out there.
So what you're saying is that, so it said so what you're saying is that he's going to take his companions and go.
With some of his companions, he will travel to the stars, meaning to some distant planets.
So I've heard like that God and like the Prophet predicted that we will be able to go to Mars and the moon and be able to go in space with the Quran. So since they're building a space station where you can, it's basically like a space hotel, and they're gonna be able to make Mars habitable. So I think that's what he means.
There is no direct Quranic reference that humans will occupy these other planets. We don't have any verse in the Holy Quran that confirms that. So it's possible, but there is no Quranic evidence for that. Yes, brother.
Just an interesting point that I wanted to share for your question about what's the point of these other planets that we have, even just in our local solar system. I remember, I think in the 1970s or in the 1980s, there was a very famous scientist by the name of Carl Sagan, and he sent out some kind of a lot of data out into space, and they've been tracking it, NASA. Just like, okay, here's what our species is like. We have 2 eyes, we have this and that, with all of these basic things, a bit of food, some music. That okay, if any life out there is out there, here's what a basic idea of what you can know about us. Back then, he also listed, I think, like 20 rules that he and the rest of the scientists at that time thought were the only rules necessary for life,
To sustain life.
To sustain life. Apparently, there was a video viral that had gone around 2014, 2015. He said by then, the presenter said that there are now about, I think, 2,000 rules necessary for a planet to have life. One of them is having a planet with a gravitational force like Jupiter, because Jupiter at its exact distance away from Earth pulls away many asteroids and meteors.
And protects Earth in doing so.
Us. So if they find a planet and they think, could there be life on Earth, on this planet X? They look, is there a planet like Jupiter nearby? If not, then they discard it. They're like, no, we're not even going to waste our time. So it's
Yes, that is a fascinating thought, that all the planets out there,
like that,
even other solar systems, right? Even other galaxies, maybe one day science will discover all of that is necessary to sustain life on this small little planet called Earth. If you remove one of them, if you remove one black hole trillions of miles away, maybe you cannot have life here on Earth because something is disrupted.
And
Yes.
It makes you think of that ayah, many ayahs, but like in Surah Luqman,
سَخَّرَ لَكُمْ. Yes. So it seems from the Quran and Hadith that everything in the universe is for this creation.